blue buildings up here belong to the United Nations Command or the UNC. All the silver or gray buildings belong to the North Koreans or the KPA. This first silver building to your right, this is the North Koreans Recreation Center. It's ironically named this because it has no recreation equipment whatsoever and it's seldomly used. Basically all they use it for is anytime they have official talks up here, the North Koreans will stage 10 to 20 armed guards in there. From time to time they'll pull back the curtains, they'll make derogatory gestures such as throat slashing, the number one finger, stuff like that. It's due to these annex we've come to call it the Monkey House. The first blue building, this is T3. This is where all staff officer and colonel level talks are held. The next blue building, this is T2. This is the Military Armistice Commission or Mack Building. This is where all general officer level and all armistice related talks are held. Normally we'd be able to visit that building. Unfortunately, due to certain restrictions, we're not allowed at this time. I'll give you some more information after I'm done briefing on everything else. The last blue building, this is T1. This is the Neutral Nation Supervisory Commission building. This is where the Swiss and Swedish delegates hold their weekly meetings, and Polish delegates come and attend biannual meetings. The last silver building, this is the former Czechoslovakian Polish Neutral Nation Supervisory Commission building. It's currently abandoned. Anybody have any idea why? Okay. Czechoslovakia is no longer a country, and Poland is no longer communist. So now Poland conducts their meetings with the Neutral Nation Supervisory Commission, the Swiss and the Swedish delegates. So now it just lies abandoned. North Koreans kind of shut off all the power and pushed them out of there. If you turn your attention directly, if you look directly to your front, to my rear, this is the Panmunjom, or the North Korean Visitors Welcoming Center. This also serves as a two-man guard post. If you look at the third story to Panmunjom, it's slightly different than the rest of the building. Okay, that's because I believe it was 1994 they added this story to make it seem, to make it appear taller than the previous Freedom House. When they reconstructed this one, they had to have a special series of meetings to say that their buildings were going to be the same height to avoid getting into skyscraper wars here. If you look at the top of the stairs, you see one soldier standing there. To his right, normally there's a window there. Normally there's another soldier in that window with either a pair of binoculars or a camera. I guess he's there. You can see the curtain pulled back. T2. Like I said, normally we'd be able to visit that building. Unfortunately, due to certain restrictions, not allowed. I'll give you some information. All buildings in the Mack, all the talks in the Mack building usually last about 3 to 5 hours. However, they do have one on record that lasts about 11 and a half hours. And from what I heard, both sides just sat around drinking tea, and both refused to get up and use the restroom, so they called it the Bladder Wars. The military demarcation line also runs through the center of that building, all of these buildings. In that building, the border between North and South Korea is 3 microphones and the United Nations command flag that stood on a table in the center of the building. So one side of the building is North Korea, one side of the building is still the Republic of Korea. This building is used by North Koreans as well. They also do tours like this, just not as often. So what they'll do is they'll go into the building and they'll lock the door on this side that leads to South Korea, and they'll conduct their tours and stuff like that. At this time, again, feel free to take pictures of anything you want. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
So, question here.
Yes.
The buildings are bisected.
Yes.
So when you're inside the building, it's not technically north or south, no matter even if you're over the line, as long as the door is locked, correct?
Well, yes. One half of the building is North Korea. One half of the building is South Korea.
Is there a wall there inside the building?
No, there's a wall. Inside the buildings, it's inside the Mack building. The military demarcation line is 3 microphones that are in the center of the building. So when you go past that one half of the table, you're then in North Korea.
But when you're in the building, like you said, they lock this end of the door,
yes.
So we can go in. Usually, the tour people can travel through both.
Yeah. You're allowed to move freely within the building when you're in there. Same thing when we go in there. Normally, what we would do is we'll lock the door on the other side, and we'll post a soldier on the other side. We'll have 2 soldiers posted in there for security. Right now, these soldiers, they're here basically as a security cordon for you guys. They don't stay out here all day. They come out here when there's visitors here. And somebody's going to ask me about the soldiers staring at the wall, probably. But what they're doing right now is they're not staring at the wall. They just have one eye on North Korea, and they only leave themselves half exposed. So that way, if they're to be fired upon, they provide less of a silhouette, and it's easier for them to fall behind the building. Hopefully, none of that today. Anybody else have any questions? Yes.
Is this where the armistice was signed?
No, the armistice was signed a little north of here. The original armistice in the city of Seoul. Then everything was moved here. servicemen.
What do they talk about when they have their meetings every?
I'm not in there, above my pay grade. But right now, I don't think they're having too many talks. I don't think they're doing too many talks right now. But we just did a repatriation about a week last week. North Korean soldier that was fishing and drifted into South Korean waters. Was captured. So we had to return him.
How many U.S. soldiers are based here?
I can't give you an exact number, but out of about 750 personnel, about 95% of them are ROC Army. They had one. I think they had one earlier this year, and they also had a defection from South Korea to North Korea this year.
How did they accomplish that?
Just go. Just go. If somebody's going to defect, then there's really not much. The North Koreans may try to stop them. If someone's defecting here, we are going to try and stop you only because they can call it an incident. Just same thing as anybody pointing, waving, anything like that, gesturing any way, can cause an incident. One small incident can lead to a bigger thing, So we try and deter it. But if someone defects, it's free will. So most of the people that try to defect to North Korea are mostly human rights activists.